My name is John Giannini. I'm a knife maker from southern Minnesota. The closest town to me is a little town called Wanamingo. If you've never heard of it, you're not the first. I didn't know much about it until I moved out here. I love making knives. I've been making knives now for probably 25 years. I've made lots of different types of knives, and I still do. But a knife type that I really like making is a friction folder. It's a very basic knife. No springs, it's held in place by a pin. We'll talk about that more later. But I really like making them. I love the simplicity of it. What I've spent quite a bit of my spare time doing in the last few years is trying to come up with new mechanisms for a friction folder. Well, John, this is a really simple knife. How do you come up with new mechanisms? Watch the rest of the video. The first knife I'd like to show you is my standard friction folder. A friction folder simply means that when you open it, it's held open by friction, the pressure that's on the pivot. And when you close it, it is held closed by the friction on the pivot. Pretty standard friction folder. It has a 1095 steel blade that's been differentially tempered, convex ground. Has a screw and a notch in the handle to hold it open. Okay. It has a relatively long tang. Many friction folders have a short tang. I like a little bit longer so that when it's open, you can hold it open with more of your hand. The handle is made out of construction paper glued together into a micarta type material. It is very strong, and each one is different. Each handle that I make is different. I also do some wood handles. It makes for very unique knives, and you'll never find two that look exactly the same. The pivot in the middle of the knife is actually a stainless steel tube that has two steel screws attached to it. When you place it in the knife, it makes for a very nice pivoting of the blade within the handle. There are also two brass bushings which allow the knife to open and close quite easily. One of the things I like to do is on a knife like this, just for fun, is to slide a little piece of Velcro on it which holds it closed, and that's kind of nice. You can also use that piece of Velcro for opening it and holding it open. And so this is my standard type of friction folder. Very basic, very straightforward, and I like that about friction folders. But I've come up with a number of other designs. This is another type of friction folder that I make. Standard construction, except for the fact that this is made out of wood. It's Purple Heart. On the tang, it has a loop with a piece of paracord. When you open the knife, you can slip the paracord over the end, and it holds the knife blade from closing. I call this a loop lock. It's nothing special in the grand scheme of things, but it's kind of unique, and it makes a friction folder a lot safer. I can then slip the loop off and close it, and I can put it in a small leather pouch and carry it in my pocket. This particular type of friction folder has a fairly long tang, so I started thinking about how could I shorten up the tang for people who liked shorter tangs. I came up with the following design. This is also a friction folder. If you look at the tang, it's shorter and it has a little loop. Notice there's a piece of cord in the end of the folder. So when I close it, believe it or not, I can take it, loop it around, and now that acts as a lock to hold the friction folder. It holds the friction folder open, and that's pretty slick. Now when you close it, there's also a second loop where you can slip it over the end, slide it up, and the cord can actually hold the blade shut as well. So using a piece of paracord that's attached to the blade, you could hold it open and shut, and it makes for a simple friction folder that can be kept closed or kept open. Now I kept going with friction folder designs. This is another friction folder design. Again, standard construction, you open it, but to hold it open, there's actually a little notch, a little tiny notch in the blade, and a little piece of stainless steel that you can simply clip into place. This holds the blade from closing. To unlock it, slide it back and push it closed. So this is another one of the friction folder designs I've come up with. Now I kept going. Here's another one. Standard design. When you open it, the way you can hold it open is there is a little piece of stainless steel that you can slide forward into a notch. You can see that it catches on the notch in the blade and it holds it open. It makes it for a really strong friction folder, and you can use it as if it was actually a fixed blade knife. To close it, you simply slide it back and close your knife. Okay, well, is that it, John? No, there's actually two more. This is another type of friction folder. It has a little pivot on it, and if you can see, there's a hook in here. When you open the blade up, the screw piece that is in the blade catches on the little loop when you press down on the mechanism. This holds it in the place. It's very strong. Pop it open and you can easily close it and just push this down. Again, another of my fiendish, crazy friction folder designs. The final one that I came up with, this knife is made out of aluminum, a little bit different than what you've seen, is called the screw lock. The blade is locked closed by a screw. You can turn it a few turns and it'll back out until it catches. You can't take the screw out. Open it up, turn it a few turns, it locks into place. Now this knife is, in many cases, bomb-proof. It is very, very, very strong. Again, a couple of turns, close the knife, and it is locked into place. If any of these friction folders are interesting to you, or if you'd like to see more of the knives that I make, please do a Google search and look up Giannini Forge. Giannini Forge, all one word. You can also go to Etsy and look up Giannini Forge, all one word, and it'll take you to my site there. I have lots of knives for sale, not just friction folders. Please feel free to come and browse. Thanks.